Hey.
Hello. My dog didn't like that very much. Jimmy, it's okay, buddy. It's all good. I'm bumbling through this. And that's just going to be how it is. We are going to embrace the dirty. So yes, I was in Japan. We went to a temple. I started to get experimental with my photographs. Blah, 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 blah. Cherry blossoms, very nice. Blah, 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 blah. Used the X100T. Took a real camera for once. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what I want to tell you. I mean, there was someone I wanted to tell you, but I forget what it is. Let's just look at photos and maybe I'll remember it. Love this photo of Lento, my nephew. Yeah, this is when it's nice to have an actual camera. Not that I usually care about quality, but it is nice to have it when, like, an iPhone would have caught that and it would have been fine, but anyway. Alrighty, Aiko. Lovely Aiko, she's never gonna watch this, so it doesn't matter what I say. Yeah, so here's the thing. Now, this is me starting to shoot. Did I shoot that in black and white or did I process it in black and white? So I was messing around with recipes, and the thing about recipes is that if you're shooting JPEG recipes, that's it. That's all you get. You're not going to be able to edit that in any other way. You're going to have to stick. It's a creative choice that you have to commit to. I'm going to turn this brightness down a little bit because, yeah, it's a creative choice that you then commit to. Recipes are fun, and that's what I want. I want fun in photography, but I also want good photos, and it's dangerous to be using a recipe. So I'm shooting JPEG recipes here. I'm not shooting straight JPEG. I'm not shooting like standard Provia, the standard JPEG film on any Fuji X camera. So I think I had a recipe based on classic Chrome, and then I put that into VSCO and messed with it even further. I also like to shoot straight Provia and then put that into classic, put that into VSCO, and just mess with it from there. You can see you do get lovely colors with using classic Chrome as a base, because they're a little bit muted, and VSCO of course then just pumps them up in a different way, and it's messy. It's not accurate, and it's hard to say I don't care about photos being accurate or not, or because I also don't like hugely saturated, hugely changed photos. I do want them to be basic, and I want what's good about the photo to be the subject and the execution, not necessarily the effects applied to them, if that makes sense. So I had a mono simulation as well going, and I've used that from time to time, and I also edit them in Apple Photos when I want to as well. I love these kind of dirty shots. So I call it a dirty shot. This is actually compositionally messy, which is not great, but it's dirty because it has a lot of texture, and the texture comes like from things that are not the subject of the photo, that are in between the subject and the camera, adding interest and texture onto things. I love that. Here's another couple of like experiment. Like I saw this vinyl wall in front of a restaurant reflecting the light, but also like letting through the background in a certain way. Same thing, like trying to get the texture. I think I actually used my iPhone for this. Can't remember. We saw the old cherry blossoms. There we go, lots of cherry blossoms. Love the cherry blossoms in the water. I do like filling a screen with a wash of a certain texture and not having any real composition at all. The subject in that case is the effect. This looks like a jigsaw puzzle or something. I loved it. Just chaos with some nice texture as well from the glass. Just love glass with like any kind of like crap on it. I just love to shoot through that, especially if what's on the other side of the glass has something interesting going on for itself. Love this shot through the train windows. You have little smoking areas. I was totally enraptured by the way that the light was going past these figures and silhouetting them through the glass. But you can still see their feet. Yeah, I like that. There it is in black and white, and that's an Apple processed black and white, Apple Photos. There's a VSCO processed color. I'm just saying, when I say it in my head, what do I say? Do I say VSCO or VSCO? Because when I say it with my mouth, it's always VSCO. This particular night, I was pissed off with reality. And I decided just to leave Eiko in the hotel room and just go for a wander, smoke a cig. I don't smoke, but in Japan I buy a pack of cigarettes when I land, and then I smoke it during the duration of my holiday, like 1 or 2 a day. Just for fun, really. I'm not encouraging anyone else to do that, but I don't know, Japan makes me want to smoke. I had been experimenting with ICM, intentional camera movement. The next day I felt better. Eiko had a dog grooming conference to go to, and I just walked around. I actually walked across Tokyo this day. I used a black and white kind of noir. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how to say this word. I think it's noir because I think it's from French. Just, you know, looking. That's the good thing about photography. I think it actually gets you out there looking at the world, looking at details, soaking it all in. That's why I love it for traveling, especially because it slows you down. I'm not a people person. I'm more about places and things. So photography works for me in that way. And that's why all my photography is non-human, basically. Light bouncing around, like playing off things, playing off plastic sheets in windows in this case, playing with shadows. I think I agree with the Egyptians and their sun god philosophy. You know, light and shadow contrast. Look, it's bouncing through this stairwell, and all the reflected sunlight in this shot is making it interesting here with little dapples of actual sunlight. That's a nice picture. I like that one. When I'm out and about, I love the way the sun creates contrast and gives you a sense of space in 3D in the picture. Yeah, so I can see a theme here, light, texture, and I love looking through glass at refracted images. It gives you a sense of place, but it's an abstract sense of place. So your mind can't grasp onto anything, and you're just looking for clues in an image, like, what the hell is this? This is looking through one of those on-street elevators that would take you down to the subway. That's looking down said kind of elevator. I like this gnarly old tree kind of growing out of a car next to the overpass. This overpass is so old. Look at the bricks. Wow. This was a beautiful kind of scene. The backs of restaurants lining up, lining a river canal, lining a canal wall. The backs of restaurants lining a canal wall. I said it all in one go. Woo! I'm very self-deprecating when I talk with other people, because I'm okay. In my head, I'm an idiot. I really don't give a fuck because I do what I do. I'm interested in my own things. The rest of the world can get screwed, right? But when I try to communicate with the world, it becomes very apparent that I cannot do that particularly effectively, so I end up self-deprecating all the time. This probably pisses you off more than it pisses me off, but anyway. Oh yeah, so I walked across Tokyo and ended up in Akihabara, which is where it's like the nerdy kind of place. Expensive Doraemon figurines, all these Ninja Turtle pairs. All these Ninja Turtle pairs, a bag of Ninja Turtle pairs. So this was cool. This little walking back to our hotel took us underneath the train tracks, through some train stations, along the road. Cool reflections, very Buddha. Yeah. Blah. I like this shot of Eiko. This is when film simulations kind of work for me. This is what I like. And the whole idea is that I don't want to spend my life processing images, and I also don't want every image to be processed very differently. I want to have a style, a look. So that's what I've been chasing for many, many years with Fujifilm and now with my Sony. Anyway, it's a head fuck. I actually don't want to talk about film simulations anymore because I don't think it's that important. But I don't like standard JPEGs, like default camera setting JPEGs. I just don't like them. Maybe I'd like them more if I was making screwed up pictures, but when everything's in focus, it's a normal photo with standard settings. I don't know, it's just not fun. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments. More banal stuff. Everybody loves banal. Leaves. I do enjoy writing on photos like this, and I do that on the iPad because it's not serious, no one's going to read it carefully, but it's a good way to kind of get your feeling out into a picture. Oh, for a place in this world. That's how I feel a lot of the time, but I guess this day I was feeling like that as well. I don't know why I wrote it on this picture, but maybe something about the tree. What to create and why. Yes, exactly. If you can answer those questions, you know, you've done. Yeah, so apparently I was feeling a little emotional this day. I actually like that. I had too many coffees on this day. This dude at Now's Roastery in Cat Street in Harajuku. Fantastic coffee. Just go straight to the back, get the pour over. Alright, so now we're going to Mount Fuji. And now I start to kind of get a bit wacky. A bit more wacky with my photography. I like this shot because it's... I've never put my finger on it as... I've always liked Daido Mariyamo's style. And that is called dirty, blurry, out of focus. As in noisy or textured, shaky, and bokeh is out of focus. I love these... I love the contrast. I love the shadows that these fish leave and how the shadows are more obvious than the actual fish. This was very, like, it was supposed to be a very pure and clear pool. I think these white things are coins people threw in, or maybe they're cherry blossom petals. But it was like very midday. I like that. I love black and white. I love color as well, but it's hard when you want to shoot black and white. And people say, yeah, just shoot JPEG and RAW, but like... why would you shoot raw for the flexibility afterwards, but I'm not into processing, so it's at the same time it's hard to commit to a look in camera. But I think when you do it, you can have more fun. But at the same time, it's fun to shoot just JPEG and then put that into VSCO and apply your filters and things there as well. Highly confusing. I'm highly confused. Photography is confusing. So this day, the guy at the hostel we were saying was like, yeah, there's a short walk up this other mountain, and from that top of that mountain you get a great view of Mount Fuji. It was not a short walk. It was like, I nearly died. Yeah, so a few nice shots of Fuji. I think I set it on black and white. Yeah, I had my camera set on black and white for this. I don't like the idea of leaving everything to post. I do mess with the curves to get the better contrast. This is one of my favorite shots of Fuji because it's very, symmetrical. The two clouds making an X above the mountain were just icing on the cake. It was very insulting. When we got to the top, there was like a 70-year-old sprightly couple who had apparently just run up the mountain. Meanwhile, I kind of crawled to the summit going, water, Echo, do you have any water? There's another one with those two X contrails. Joke. Not a joke, but whatever. And it's the one conspiracy theory I'm not sure is a conspiracy theory. I really do not care which of the conspiracy theories are real because, yeah, for all I know, we are in a simulation. What reality is not the point. I think the point is what we do. And on that note, I think we are mostly flunking. Sorry. Be vegan. I'm pretty sure there were wolf or bear tracks in this mud, along with some of these deer tracks. I can see some more pointy ones in there. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but after we saw that mud, we were very quiet. It was a logging area, but these forests were beautiful. We just watched the Japanese movie called Wood Job. Check out Wood Job, it's available on YouTube. I think one of them has English subtitles. It's a cool movie about a kid from the city who gets roped into going into the country to be an apprentice logger. It's from a book. The book's also awesome. I think the book's called something about Kamisari. Kamisari is in the title. The movie's called Wood Job. Alright, so we are back with our feet on the ground. And we are driving back to Tokyo, and this is where I decide I'm gonna open up the shutter speed. And what I was trying to do was isolate the subject in motion blur. So the subject would be here, the foreground would be blurred, and the background would be blurred. Some of the branches here are less blurred than others, which I find to be visually interesting. And visually interesting is fine with me. Just visually interesting is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it still recording? Let me check. Yeah. Alright. Nice clouds. I'm all for nice clouds. I actually like this photo with Fuji and the telegraph pole and the clouds. There's a brilliant photo coming up of Fuji in the review, like out the window. Here we go, that's it. Here's an example of that blur I was talking about. It is I, the in focus person. Yeah. Alright.